In this video, I'm going to be explaining the best settings for every PC setup and every use case. You will be able to find the best settings for your own setup. We want the best performance that our PC can give for the best quality. Let's begin. First up, this is how you install OBS. Just go to the Windows Installer exe, click it, go through the steps, and you're able to install OBS. I just installed this, which is the zip for the entire OBS studio. I'm going to be installing a portable version of OBS so I can record the settings of the OBS I already installed. Let me show you how. Okay, I'm done installing. Go to the folder, go to bin, 64-bit, OBS 64, create shortcut. Done. Okay, I'm gonna start recording on the portable version and then go to this version, and y'all should be able to see the other version. Alright, so this is how my OBS looks like. Go into settings. You can set your language here. Then you can select Open Stats dialog on startup. You can check your CPU usage, displays available, this full in how much when you're recording, memory usage, which is RAM, FPS, the average time to render each frame, which is very fast, 0.6 milliseconds for me, frames missed due to rendering lag. If your Wi-Fi or Ethernet bandwidth drops, there might be dropped frames due to network lag. Checking hide OBS windows on screen capture basically removes this infinite effect, and you can see what's behind OBS. For update channel, I have it on stable. If you want to experiment with beta features, then you can turn betas on. This will allow you to use different beta features, but I wouldn't recommend this if you want a stable experience. For output, I just have all of these checked. This makes sure that when you click start streaming, start recording, or stop streaming and stop recording, they will notify you and ask you to confirm with a yes checkbox. I have automatically record when streaming turned off. You can read through the rest, they aren't very important. In appearance, you can set what theme you want, which is only this, and what style you want. I'll go through the different styles for you. Rajni and Classic are pretty good. I use Ducky because I've installed my own theme. In Program Files, OBS Studio, bin, 64-bit, then Styles, all these are folders. Drop this .dll file in. You can find different themes on the OBS website, just search it up. Going to stream, you can select Twitch, YouTube, or anything else. I'm going to be going through Twitch for today. After connecting your account, you can select what server you want. I recommend connecting your account to OBS instead of using the stream key. Enhanced broadcasting is stated here. I'll recommend that you turn it off. Clicking this Ignore Streaming Service Setting Recommendations. This is important as it allows you to go above the maximum bitrate that Twitch allows. Video and audio bitrate is basically the amount of data that can be sent to Twitch per second. In this case, it is 6 megabytes per second and 0.32 megabytes per second. It's sending 6 megabytes per second of data to Twitch every time you stream. However, if you click this, you can send up to 8 megabytes per second of data to Twitch. Twitch chat add-ons. I will have both Better TV and Franker Faces Twitch chat add-ons ticked so that my Twitch chat can see all the emotes and not just the name of the emote. Going to output, starting with streaming. Audio track basically lets you choose which audio track you want to send to Twitch. Twitch VOD track is a track that you want to send to your Twitch VOD, which is the replay of your Twitch stream. I have it ticked so I can send a track without the music to the Twitch VOD track. This avoids DMCA strikes. Let me show you how I set up my audio tracks. So alerts all are ticked. Desktop audio 2, which is my music, is also ticked, and my mic is also ticked. However, my Twitch VOD track is track number 2, so my music, which is in desktop audio 2, is unticked. So it only sends the desktop audio and my mic to the Twitch VOD track. This way, whatever music I'm listening to on stream will not be sent to my VOD. This is how I separate my desktop audio and my music. I use Voice Meter Banana, but I'm pretty sure Voice Meter Potato works too. Using Ear Trumpet, once you install a Voice Meter Banana, all these audio outputs will show. You will be able to set all the desktop audio apps to Voice Meter Input, and all the music and all the other things that you want to remove to Voice Meter Aux Input. Voice Meter Aux Input will be set as desktop audio 2, and Voice Meter Input will be set as desktop audio. You can simply select the headphones you want here, and your audio will start working. I've set desktop audio to Voice Meter Input and desktop audio 2 to Voice Meter Aux Input. My mic is set as my default mic. Going back to output, my video encoder is set to X264 because this is CPU, and video NVENC H264 is GPU. My GPU couldn't take recording, streaming, and playing Krunker at the same time, so I had to set mine to CPU. First up, rescale output. This is useful if you want to stream at a lower resolution. This helps you increase the performance of your streams. This allows you to stream at lower resolutions than your monitor's resolution. If your PC isn't that good or needs more performance, you can use rescale output to decrease the resolution of the video stream that you're sending to Twitch. Something like 720p, 960p, or 936p would give you better performance and smoother streams if your PC cannot handle 1080p streaming. The best downscaling settings are bicubic and lens source. I don't know how to pronounce that. This lens source is better for real imagery, and bicubic is better for synthetic imagery like game graphics. So if you are playing games, set it to bicubic. Anything else, like trees and all that, set it to lens source. Bicubic is my recommended downscaling option. You can also choose what downscaling filter you want to use per source. You can just choose lens source like on your face cam, and then bicubic on your gameplay. 8000 kilobytes per second is barely enough bitrate for streaming or recording 1080p 60 gameplay. Thus, people rescale the output to 720p, 960p or 936p. Going to encoder settings. Starting with CBR. CBR is constant bitrate. Streaming services require this, as this is what their servers expect. It is not recommended for recording, as other methods are better for better file management, especially for higher quality or higher bit rates. You can set the bit rate you want. As I said, we click Ignore Streaming Service Setting Recommendations. We can use up to 8000 kilobytes per second for Twitch, but 10,000 kilobytes per second may be supported in the future. For now, 8000 kilobytes per second is the max supported bitrate by Twitch. It is recommended to turn off use custom buffer size. If you're not using custom buffer size, OBS will use the default, which is the same as your bitrate. Too little buffer might have poor quality keyframes. Too much buffer or unlimited buffer if set to 0 increases latency over slow connection, making the bitrate less constant. This might cause Twitch to show a warning because it produces high peaks in bitrate. It is recommended to leave this unchecked. Keyframe interval. A keyframe is used to generate subsequent frames. You can set it to either 1 or 2. I set it to 1. CPU usage preset. It is recommended to just stick with very fast, but faster, fast, medium and slow gives you more quality at the expense of more CPU usage. Profile. Main is recommended, but high gives you more quality. Tune. Film is the most quality, and 0 latency is the most performance. I recommend leaving it to none. X264 options is for more advanced users. Alright, moving on to these settings which you should not use for streaming. ABR is average bitrate. VBR is variable bitrate. you set a maximum bitrate and a quality target. A CRF value between 18 and 23 is decent, and 20 can give you visually lossless recordings. This gives you the best balance between performance and recording quality. A lower CRF value is more quality but a bigger file size. A higher CRF value is less quality but a smaller file size. The recommended number to set it to is 20, but if you need more performance, you can set it to 23 or higher. CRF is basically constant rate factor, or the quality target that you saw in VBR. Again, a smaller CRF number is better quality, a bigger CRF number is worse quality. 20 is the best. Going to recording, you can set your recording path like so. Just click browse and select the file folder that you want. The best recording format is MKV, turning on automatically remarks to MP4. This way, if your OBS crashes or your computer crashes, the MKV file will be saved and not completely destroyed. If you set this to MP4 and your OBS crashes halfway through a long recording, the entire file will be gone. However, MKV allows everything before the OBS crash to be saved as the MKV file. You can remarks recordings from here. File, then remarks recordings. For video encoder, NVIDIA NVENC HEVC is the best for NVIDIA graphics cards. However, if you have a 40 series or 50 series graphics card by NVIDIA, you can use AV1. Some AMD and Intel graphics cards support AV1 too. NVIDIA NVENC HEVC basically uses NVENC hardware on the NVIDIA graphics cards. So it's dedicated hardware for streaming and recording, which can be used to lower CPU usage, because if you use X264, it uses your CPU. HEVC is more efficient than H264. That's why NVIDIA NVENC HEVC is the most efficient and the best format to use. For audio track, you can select the audio tracks that you want to include in your recording. If you select all 6 audio tracks, in your editing software like Premiere Pro, you will see 6 bars of audio tracks. I've set audio track 3, 4, and 5 to be included in my recording. As you can see, audio track 3 is only my desktop audio, audio track 4 is only my desktop audio too, which is my music, and audio track 5 is only my mic. This way, every single audio device is separated, and I have more granular control when editing videos. You can use different audio encoders like 32-bit float, so that you will never clip in your recordings. Clipping is when your mic goes too loud. Such that it just maxes out the volume level, and the frequencies at the top are cut off. You can use different bit audio encoders, but I would still recommend you use FFmpeg AAC. FLAC is pretty good too. I have already explained rescale output previously. Constant bitrate is the same as CBR. Since this is recording, you can set the bitrate as high as you want. For maximum quality, you can set it to like 40,000 bitrate. I think something like 16,000 is the best balance. You could go around 12 or 13,000 for 1080p 60 recordings too. But for the best quality, go 25,000 and above. This way, if something really complicated is happening on screen, there'll be enough bitrate for enough information to store in the recording. If there's insufficient bitrate will give you this blotchy mess, as you can see in like some Apex Legends streams. However, if you set your bitrate high enough for recordings, there'll be no quality loss. Constant QP is the same as CRF. Variable bitrate is the same as VBR, just that you have a bitrate and a maximum bitrate that you can hit. Let's say we set our normal bitrate to 10,000 and our maximum bitrate to 16,000. It will operate at the constant bitrate of 10,000 until it needs more headroom, and it will go up to the maximum bitrate or use however much bitrate it needs up to the maximum. Variable bitrate with target quality allows you to set a maximum bitrate as before, but set a quality target. Around 14 is visually lossless. 20 is the best balance, which also somewhat looks visually lossless, but gives you the best balance between performance and recording quality. Lossless is basically OBS using as much bitrate as it needs, up to like unlimited, but it will give you massive file sizes. I recorded lossless gameplay for like 10 minutes before, and it gave me a 35GB file. Keyframe interval has been explained already. For preset, P4 and P5 are the best balance between performance and quality. P6 and P7 are the best quality but take a long time to encode. So only use P6 and P7 if you have a really good GPU. You can use P3 to P1 if your computer is like really low end and you need more performance. I will set mine to P5. For tuning, high quality is the best balance. Ultra high quality is the best quality. And you can set it to low latency or ultra low latency if you need more performance. I set mine to high quality. For multi-pass mode, single pass is the best for lower GPU usage. 2 passes quarter resolution is the recommended for the best quality. For profile, usually there's baseline, main and high. High is the most quality. I recommend you set it to main. Baseline is more performance. Look ahead is recommended to turn on if you have a good GPU. If you need more GPU performance for a game, then I recommend you turn it off. I'll put what look ahead means on screen. This is from the GeForce website. For adaptive quantization, it's an advanced encoder rework of the old cycle visual tuning. It's a combination of temporal adaptive quantization and motion adaptive quantization. It analyzes each frame with movement over time and movement within the frame itself. This optimizes the encoder and is recommended for low bitrate streaming like 6000 bitrate. However, for high bitrate streaming or high bitrate recording, I'll recommend that you turn it off. This setting just improves the efficiency of the bitrate, so it's useful if you are stuck to using a lower bitrate to get more performance, or because Twitch doesn't allow a very high bitrate. B-frames. B-frames are frames that take information from the frame before it and the frame after it to generate frames, because not every frame is encoded in video compression due to a lack of sufficient bitrate. I recommend you set it to 2. For B-frames as reference. Reference frames are frames constructed to base future frames off of, requiring more bitrate to generate these reference frames. However, using the B-frames as the reference frames. This saves bitrate as the reference frames do not need to be generated from scratch. Set to each or middle for bit of bitrate efficiency improvements, with no real difference between the two. Middle only is recommended. For split encode, split encode is only available in some 40 series and some 50 series NVIDIA graphics cards, like the 4070 Ti, 4080, 4080 Super and 4090, as well as the 5080, as well as the 5090 which has 3-way split encodes. This allows the top and bottom half of the frame to be encoded separately on dual or triple NVENC chips on the GPU at the same time. This massively improves the encoding speed. It is useful for 4K 60 or 8K 60 recordings, as the encoding speed for 4K 60 and 8K 60 is much slower. Using split encode allows the encoding to be doubled or tripled in speed, very useful for 4K 60 or 8K 60 encoding. However, the recent OBS update has allowed split encode for 1080p 60 recordings. It is useful for P6 or P7 quality presets that take longer to encode. However, it's not recommended to use split encode for multiple encodes like multi-streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and like TikTok. This is because the split encode renders the top frame and the bottom frame individually, and then stitches them back together into each frame of your stream or recording. By using multiple encodes like multi-streaming, it's more difficult for the split encode to encode each stream at once, and you may get some form of screen tearing, where the top frame and bottom frame does not align in your recording. However, split encode is very useful for normal single encodes. It's recommended that you turn your 2-way or 3-way split encode on if you're using a 40 or 50 series graphics card and not using multi-streaming. Once again, custom encoded options are for more advanced users. I would not recommend you mess with this option. I can release a video explaining this in the future. For audio, sample rate can be set to 44.1 kHz or 48 kHz. 48 kHz and above, which is not supported here, basically gives you a nicer, fuller sound of audio. I have it set to 48 kHz, but I don't think 44.1 kHz makes a huge difference. You're fine using both, but I set this for more audio quality. Channels, only set it to mono if you really need it, because mono basically makes your left and right ear play the same audio and there is no stereo audio. I set mine to stereo. I would not recommend you use 2.1, 4.0, 4.1, 5.1, or 7.1 as you may encounter different compatibility issues using something like 7.1. As explained before, desktop audio is set to voice meter input, which is all my desktop audio. Desktop audio 2 is set to voice meter aux input, which is all my music and all the other things that I don't want to appear in the Twitch VOD track. Mic is set to wavelength microphone FX. Set it to whatever mic you have. For video, set your base canvas resolution to the resolution of your main monitor, and set output scale resolution to the same resolution as base canvas resolution. There's no need to use downscale filter here, because for output we are already using rescale output. There's no need to downscale your output resolution in this tab. You can use integer FPS values to get any value from 0 to 120 FPS. Common FPS values allow you to select from 10 to 60 FPS. Fractional FPS values allow you to set any FPS value that you want. I've set mine to 18,000 now, and my computer can only render 1400 frames, so I have it set back to 120. For hotkeys, you can set a hotkey for stream markers or taking a screenshot. Screenshot output is set to S7 for me, and you can use different hotkeys to show or hide different elements in your stream. You can use add chapter marker too, but it requires you to use hybrid MP4. In accessibility, you can use different colors. I've set my source border color to a custom color because I like purple. Advanced. For video color format, NV12 is a default. I would recommend using NV12 for the most compatibility. 422 is the best for HDR. And if you set this to 422, you need to set your color space to like Rec 2100 HLG, which will cause your output to look more desaturated. Yeah, that's the word. Color range, full is also okay, but usually we will stick to NV12 and sRGB. Color range limited 300 nits, 1000 nits for the most compatibility and basically just the default format. As always, we take automatically remux to MP4 if we turn on. If we choose MKV as the recording format, make sure to take automatically remux to MP4. This will ensure that the MKV files are automatically converted to MP4, so you can use the MP4 files to edit in apps such as Premiere Pro. These apps usually do not support MKV formats. If your Wi-Fi or network crashes, automatically reconnect. If your Wi-Fi or network crashes and your stream freezes or ends, automatically reconnect will make sure that once you come back online, it continues in the same stream as before, so you don't have to do the stop streaming and start streaming again. Okay, that's pretty much it. In the preview settings, you can enable or disable the preview. When you disable preview, you save GPU resources and you're not distracted by the preview over here. You can set preview scaling to canvas, which allows you to have more granular control over the position of different sources. As you can see, scale to window, canvas. Canvas is basically the size of your screen. Full screen projector allows you to set your preview to the entire screen of a second display. You can screenshot the preview to scenes. These are my different scenes. My main scene is this one, be right back, camera, starting, and ending. I usually use the main scene. How to add different scenes? You just click and then you add a scene. That's all. You can name different scenes. Now you can order the different scenes. You used to not be able to do that. In sources, The first source is called Application Audio Capture. This allows you to capture the audio of a specific application instead of using something like desktop audio. Audio input capture is your mic. Audio output capture is something like desktop audio. Browser sources allow you to add alerts or different things like a Spotify widget. Color source is basically a solid color. Display capture captures the entire screen. Game capture captures a specific game. Game capture, okay. Capture a specific window, and then you select the window that you want. You can also capture audio and allow transparency if you need to. You can untick capture cursor if you want. Image is basically an image. Image slideshow allows you to select multiple images and turn them into a slideshow. Media source is any videos. Scene basically allows you to add a scene into a scene as a source. Text is text. Video capture device is basically your camera. And window capture captures different windows. Like this, the script. It is recommended to use game capture for games like Valorant because window capture doesn't really work for those full screen applications. For mine, I have alerts as a browser source, my camera, a display capture, and a background in case I'm not using the display capture. In my camera, I have a follower browser source. I have an old border. I have the camera scene. I have a shadow, which is a PNG. I have another shadow. I have a chat browser source, so if I type in chat, it appears there. You can use streamelements.com for all these browser sources. And I have an Amuse widget, which I have a tutorial for. It's in my tutorials playlist in my YouTube channel. Then display capture basically captures my main display. For the filters I use for this camera, I use image mask to get this crop. Basically, you browse a PNG and set it to alpha mask, and it gets masked to the non-transparent part of the image. You can also crop images by holding down Alt and dragging. This way you can crop any way you like. You can also add a group and put your sources into that group. You can copy that group and paste it into another scene like so. This is just the background and this is my alerts. In camera, I have a clock browser. I think it's a browser source, yeah. I have a clock browser source, which you can hide. And my mouse cam has different filters applied. First, a chroma key. Chroma key is basically allowing you to select green and key out your green screen using similarity. I use different LUTs as PNG files. Just search neutral LUT PNG. Just search neutral LUT PNG and you can download this. I basically took this neutral LUT PNG, went to Lightroom, increased the contrast all the way, and then added it as a LUT. Apply LUT. This way I can change the contrast of the video. Basically works like a Lightroom. You can even screenshot this, go into Lightroom, tweak it to how you want it, save it as a filter, then apply that filter to the LUT PNG, export it as JPEG, convert it back to PNG, and then apply LUT, and then you have your own LUT. This is a cinematic LUT that I made. Other filters. Color correction allows you to change the gamma, contrast, brightness, saturation, and change the hue of the image too. Color key works similar to chroma key, just that you can select any color you want. Crop basically allows you to crop the image. Image mask and blend is as I showed just now. Luma key is similar to chroma key, but it keys out different brightness of the image. Render delay is delaying the image showing. Scaling aspect ratio is similar to crop. Scaling aspect ratio allows you to set it to bicubic or lensos, as I said before. Scroll allows Scroll allows your source to scroll. Sharpen allows you to sharpen the image. Be careful not to sharpen too much, as it really looks over sharpened. A little bit of sharpening will be good. For my camera source, you can set custom resolutions because the default does not have 1920 by 1080. Setting it to custom and 1920 by 1080 with the highest FPS at 30. The video format does not have YUY2, so you can choose any which chooses MJPEG. Color space, I've set it to Rec 2100, which is a wider color space than Rec 709, similar to HDR. Color range full for that wider color space too. And I just put buffering to auto detect. You can configure video. Usually by default, this exposure checkbox is turned on. It makes the FPS look really bad because of the different shutter speed that the camera uses to increase the exposure. I need to uncheck this every time I use OBS, apply, deactivate, and then activate for it to be reset. Gain can be increased by this setting. For audio mixer, advanced audio properties, you can change the left-right balance of the audio. You can also set it to mono, but I only recommend setting the microphone to mono audio. You can increase the volume here, such that your desktop audio, it's around this area where my cursor is. Your music is around this area, like the peaks, and the microphone has to be around this area, the top of green to yellow where my mic is right now. Adjust it accordingly using volume. You can add a delay to each audio in case one of your sources are delayed and you want to delay all of the others to match the delayed source. You can also monitor such that you can hear what I'm saying. You can also monitor such that you can hear. It should have been playing double audio just now because it played through the desktop audio. This basically allows you to hear what your mic sounds like. You can monitor and output, or you can monitor only. You can mute if you don't want the audio source to come out. For example, it's muted now, and then now it's unmuted. If I mute it in my other OBS, you can hear me. Now you can hear me. For your mic, you can also add filters, like a limiter. I will upload a full audio guide in the future. Different transitions are like cut, fade, luma wipe, and I have my own custom stinger transition. You can add your own here and then make your own transition using a video file. That video file has to be transparent with an alpha channel. You can start streaming or start recording or start a virtual camera to use it in your other apps. This way you can have your OBS output as your camera in apps like Zoom or Discord. Studio mode basically allows you to make changes, then transition to show it on stream. For file, you can show the recordings. This pulls up this folder so you don't have to go and find it yourself. You can remux recordings too. It's basically all the controls you already have in scene sources in the preview. View, you can view stats, like the stats that you could open in startup. You can reset docs, and you can select different docs that you want, like Twitch stats feed. Under profile, you can basically export your OBS settings. I think I'll export my OBS settings and add them in the description below. Under scene collection, you can import or export your entire scene collection. This allows you to save or share your scenes. Under tools, it's basically for scripts like different plugins and different Python scripts, which I can cover in a future video. Or you can watch people like Earpods Vox or Nutty on YouTube. In help, it's basically to check for updates and release notes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below or join the Discord server linked in the description and I'll answer you there. Alright, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.